You know what? I'm done staying silent about this. Because what Cody Rhodes just did on Smackdown isn't just controversial. It's potentially the biggest mistake of his entire championship reign. And WWE is letting it happen right under our noses. While everyone's celebrating and calling this the American Nightmare's finest hour, I'm sitting here watching the complete destruction of everything that made Cody's title run special in the first place. And the worst part, you might be cheering for it without even realizing what's actually happening. This is Wrestle Scope, and today we're breaking down the real story behind Cody Rhodes' shocking Smackdown statement, the one WWE doesn't want you to think too hard about. Because when you connect the dots, this isn't just about one promo. This is about the entire future of WWE. And trust me, you're not going to like where this is heading. But before we expose what's really going on, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to Wrestle Scope, because we're the only channel brave enough to tell you the truth that other wrestling YouTubers are too scared to say. So, let's set the scene. Smackdown. The undisputed WWE champion Cody Rhodes stands in the center of the ring with that championship draped over his shoulder. The crowd is electric, chanting his name. And then he drops it, the statement that's supposed to change everything. Cody looks directly into the camera and declares that he's no longer running from anyone. He's no longer going to be the fighting champion who accepts every challenge that comes his way. Instead, he's going to choose his opponents. He's going to decide who's worthy of a title shot. He's taking control of his destiny, his legacy, and the championship itself. And the crowd erupted. Social media went absolutely insane. Twitter, or X, whatever we're calling it now, was flooded with people calling this the most badass thing Cody's ever done. Finally, they said, Cody's acting like a real champion, someone who commands respect, someone who isn't at the mercy of general managers or authority figures. But here's what nobody is talking about, and this is where I need you to pay close attention, because this is the part that changes everything. By making this statement, Cody Rhodes just became the one thing he swore he'd never be. He became his father's biggest fear. He became exactly what he spent years in AEW fighting against. He became a corporate champion. Yeah, I said it. And before you click off this video or leave an angry comment, though honestly, please do leave a comment because we need to talk about this, hear me out. Remember the story? Remember why Cody Rhodes left WWE in the first place back in 2016? It wasn't just about the Stardust gimmick. It was about creative control. It was about the machine deciding who gets opportunities and who doesn't. It was about Vince McMahon and the corporate structure hand-picking champions and opponents based on what they wanted, not what the wrestlers or the fans deserved. Cody spent years building AEW on the promise of being different. He literally said, and I quote, "We're giving power back to the wrestlers." He positioned himself as the anti-authority figure, the guy who believed that talent and hard work should determine your spot, not backstage politics. And now he's standing in a WWE ring saying he gets to decide who's worthy? He gets to handpick his challenges? How is that any different from Triple H selecting his buddies for title shots back in the day? How is that different from the same corporate structure Cody claimed to despise? But wait, it gets worse. Because here's the part that should absolutely infuriate you as a wrestling fan. This isn't Cody going rogue. This isn't some rebellious statement against WWE management. This is the plan. Triple H wants this. Nick Khan wants this. WWE's new regime is literally booking Cody to become the gatekeeper they've always needed. Think about it. Who benefits from Cody choosing his opponents? Not the up-and-coming stars, not the mid-card wrestlers grinding every week to prove themselves, not LA Knight, who the fans are screaming to see get his shot, not Grayson Waller, who's been killing it on the mic for months. No, the people who benefit are the established names, the part-timers, the legends they can bring back for nostalgia pops, the safe choices that won't rock the boat or threaten the carefully constructed corporate narrative. And you know what the saddest part is? Cody doesn't even see it. Or maybe he does and he just doesn't care anymore. Because finishing the story, getting that championship, defeating Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, maybe that was the peak. Maybe everything after that is just Cody becoming another cog in the machine, another corporate champion holding that title exactly how WWE wants it held. Now, let's zoom out for a second, because this is about so much more than just Cody Rhodes. This is about the direction of WWE under Triple H's creative regime, and honestly, I'm starting to have some serious concerns. Don't get me wrong, Triple H has done incredible things since taking over. NXT was revolutionary. The main roster product has improved in many ways. We're getting better matches, longer storylines, and more creative freedom for promos. But there's a pattern emerging, and Cody's statement is just the latest example. WWE is systematically eliminating the unpredictability that makes wrestling exciting. Think about it. When champions get to choose their opponents, what happens? Storylines become predictable. The element of surprise disappears. That random Smackdown where a mid-card guy could suddenly get a championship opportunity and shock the world? Gone. That Royal Rumble winner actually meaning something because they earned a guaranteed shot? Diminished. Instead, we get champions cutting promos about who they respect enough to face. We get carefully orchestrated programs that feel more like corporate business decisions than organic wrestling storylines. We get the illusion of chaos while everything is actually more controlled than ever. And here's the kicker. Cody's statement proves that WWE has learned nothing from the Roman Reigns title reign criticism. You remember, right, when fans were exhausted by the never-ending predictable Roman storylines? When people complained that Roman was being protected too much, that his title reign felt manufactured rather than earned? Well, congratulations WWE, you've just set up Cody Rhodes to follow the exact same path. But there's another layer to this that I think is even more insidious. By having Cody make this statement now, WWE is preemptively shutting down any criticism about who he defends against. If fans complain that Cody's only facing main eventers and ignoring deserving up-and-comers, WWE can just point to this promo and say, well, Cody told you he's choosing his opponents. This is his character now. It's genius, really. Evil genius, but genius nonetheless. They're using Cody's own words as a shield against legitimate booking criticism. They're making the corporate decision to protect their champion into a storyline, so fans can't complain about it without breaking kayfabe. And here's where this gets really scary for the wrestling industry as a whole, because WWE is the industry leader. When WWE does something, other promotions follow. When WWE sets a precedent, it becomes the new normal. If Cody Rhodes successfully operates as a champion who handpicks opponents and gets praised for it, what message does that send? It tells every other promotion that merit doesn't matter, opportunity doesn't matter. All that matters is whether you're chosen by those in power. AEW, despite its flaws, has tried to maintain some level of meritocracy with their ranking system. NJPW has their tournament structure. Even Impact and the indie scene have generally operated on the principle that you earn your opportunities through performance. But if WWE's model succeeds, if fans embrace this champion as gatekeeper approach, it could fundamentally change how wrestling works, and not for the better. We could be looking at a future where every promotion runs their main event scene like a popularity contest, where champions essentially book themselves, where the mid-card becomes completely meaningless because there's no pathway to the top unless you're handpicked by someone already there. Is that the wrestling industry you want? Because that's the industry Cody Rhodes is helping create with the statement, whether he realizes it or not. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but Wrestle Scope, the fans are cheering, the crowd went crazy, social media is exploding with support. Doesn't that mean this is good? And here's where I need you to really think critically for a second. Fans cheered Roman Reigns' initial push too. Fans cheered when authority figures first became prominent in storylines. Fans have cheered for lots of things that eventually became toxic to the wrestling product.
The problem is that in the moment, when it's presented with good production values, dramatic music, and a charismatic performer delivering the lines, everything feels epic. Everything feels important. WWE is masterful at making you feel emotions in real time. But what happens 6 months from now when Cody's defended against the same 3 or 4 guys multiple times? What happens when a genuinely hot wrestler like LA Knight or Carmelo Hayes is ready for their moment, but Cody doesn't choose them because it doesn't fit the corporate plan? What happens when you realize that this statement wasn't about empowerment, it was about control? WWE's control over their champion, their storylines, and ultimately over you, the fan. The crowd's reaction in the moment doesn't determine whether something is good for wrestling long-term. Sometimes the most popular decisions in the moment lead to the worst outcomes down the road. So what was Cody Rhodes really saying on Smackdown? Strip away the dramatic delivery, the emotional music, the crowd reactions, and look at the actual content of his statement. He was saying, I'm more important than the title itself. He was saying, the championship serves me, not the other way around. He was saying, opportunity in WWE isn't about what you've earned, it's about who I decide to grant it to. And maybe most importantly, he was saying, I've become exactly what I once stood against, and I'm okay with that. That's the real statement. That's what this moment will be remembered for, regardless of how it's being celebrated right now. Cody Rhodes finished his story at WrestleMania. He defeated Roman Reigns. He won the championship that his father never could. That was the perfect ending to a perfect narrative. But champions are defined not by how they win the title, but by what they do with it afterward. And right now, what Cody's doing is transforming from the people's champion into the company's champion. From the American nightmare into the American dream that only benefits a select few. Look, I know this video is going to be controversial. I know some of you are furious with me right now for attacking Cody Rhodes. But that's exactly why we do this here at Wrestle Scope, because someone needs to say the things that everyone else is too afraid to say. If you agree with me, if you see the same problems I'm pointing out, I need you to like this video and subscribe to this channel, because we're only going to keep growing if we stick together and demand better from WWE. If you disagree with me, if you think I'm completely wrong and Cody's statement was the best thing ever, then I especially need you to comment below and tell me why. Let's have that conversation. Let's debate this, because ultimately we all want the same thing. We want wrestling to be as good as it can possibly be. Share this video with your wrestling friends. Get them in on the conversation. Post it in your Discord servers. Tweet it out, because this is the discussion the wrestling community needs to be having right now. And here's my challenge to you. 6 months from now, come back to this video, watch it again, and see if I was right. See if Cody's reign has become the predictable, corporate-controlled championship run I'm predicting, or if WWE proves me completely wrong and delivers something special. I'm Wrestle Scope, and remember, we don't just watch wrestling, we analyze it, we question it, we hold it to a higher standard. Stay scoped in, and I'll see you in the next one.